The night Emily Sinclair disappeared, her car was found abandoned at the edge of Millfield Woods. The engine was still running. The driver's door stood wide open. Inside the car, her purse sat untouched on the passenger seat. Her phone lay face down in the cup holder. And on the steering wheel, barely visible under the dome light, was a single drop of blood. Millfield didn't know it yet, but this wasn't a disappearance. It was a warning. Emily Sinclair was 17, a senior at Millfield High School. The kind of girl who carried herself with quiet confidence, bright eyes, a curious mind, dreams too big for this small town. Everyone expected great things from her. She worked evenings at Millfield Diner, a place that smelled of fresh coffee and homemade pies, where locals swapped stories and troubles alike. On that October night in 1992, Emily clocked out around 7 p.m. But something was different. Mike, her co-worker, noticed it right away. Emily kept glancing over her shoulder, her smile forced and uneven. She moved with a nervous energy, like a caged bird pacing its cage. "You okay, Em?" Mike asked, locking the register behind him. "Yeah, just tired," she replied, but her voice wavered. She slipped out into the crisp autumn air, the chill biting at her skin, and quickened her pace. What no one knew was that someone had been watching her all day. The next morning, Millfield woke to a horror it wasn't ready for. Emily was missing. Her car was found parked at the edge of the dense Millfield Woods, a place kids dared each other to explore, but rarely ventured deep into. The car looked staged, too clean, too deliberate. Runaways took things with them. Victims fought back. Emily had done neither. Neighbors remembered hearing a car speed away late that night, tires skidding on gravel, but no one saw who it was. Some whisper about a strange man spotted near the diner in the days before. A man no one could place, asking questions about Emily's schedule, her habits. No one thought to connect the dots. Detective Mark Lawson was called in, a man with decades of experience, but quiet intensity that spoke louder than words. From the start, Lawson sensed this wasn't a typical missing person case. His first step, interview those who knew Emily best. Friends painted a complicated picture. Emily had recently stopped answering Jake's calls. Her boyfriend, rumors swirled about a fight, about secrets she wouldn't share. Jake insisted he loved her and wanted to help, but he was evasive about his own whereabouts that night. Had he been hiding something? Or was someone else lurking in the background? Then there was a mysterious man. The diner's owner described him as a quiet, watchful figure who lingered outside in the shadows, asking strange questions about Emily's routines. Old surveillance footage, an odd luxury for a small-town diner in 1992, showed a blurry silhouette standing just out of focus as Emily left work. No one recognized the man. No one came forward. Emily's parents were shattered. Her mother's voice cracked as she spoke to a local reporter. She wouldn't just run away. She called me that morning, sounded scared, but she wouldn't say why. Was Emily trying to warn someone? Was she hiding from a danger only she could see? Days turned to a week. The town banded together. Volunteers handing out flyers, searching the woods, lighting candles in the dark. Prayers rose from churches and homes alike, but hope began to fade. Then, a hunter made a grim discovery deep in Millfield Woods. A scarf, tangled in the branches, stained dark red. Forensics confirmed the worst. It belonged to Emily Sinclair. The scarf changed everything. No longer a disappearance. It was now a possible murder. Detective Lawson stared at that blood-stained fabric. It was found just yards from where her car sat abandoned. If Emily had fled in fear, what was chasing her? And where did it lead? Whispers in Millfield grew darker. Some believed Emily knew her attacker. Others feared a stranger had been living in their town, hiding behind a familiar face. Was this random violence, or something far more calculated? Rumors swirled about the mysterious man near the diner. Some said he was a drifter passing through. Others claimed he was a local with a violent past. Despite police efforts, no one ever identified him. Who was he? Could he be the key to the nightmare unfolding in Millfield? And then Detective Lawson's phone rang. The voice was distorted. Calm, certain. Look closer, it said. The answers aren't out there. They're here, among you. The line went dead. Lawson stared at the phone long after the dial tone faded. Because whoever made that call didn't want Emily found. They wanted the truth buried, and they were watching. What were they hiding? Who could be trusted when everyone seemed to have something to lose? Why did the truth feel more terrifying than the mystery itself? If this story has gripped you so far, hit like, share your theories below, and subscribe too, as the next part of the story uncovers shocking evidence that will flip everything upside down. Every town has its secrets, but some secrets refuse to stay buried. What will Detective Lawson discover next? Will Emily Sinclair's story finally find its truth, or will Millfield's darkest shadows swallow it whole? Stay with us. The voice on the phone still echoed in Detective Mark Lawson's mind long after the line went dead. Look closer. The answers aren't out there. They're here, among us. It was an ominous warning, one that suggested this case was far more tangled and closer to home than anyone had dared imagine. Lawson sat alone in his dimly lit office, staring at the map of Millfield pinned on the wall. Each red pushpin marked a piece of the puzzle. Emily's abandoned car, the spot where her bloodied scarf was found, the diner, and the surrounding neighborhoods. He was no stranger to cold cases, but something about Emily Sinclair's disappearance gnawed at him. The days following the call were a whirlwind of activity. Lawson and his team re-examined every witness statement, every scrap of evidence, looking for clues they'd missed the first time. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source, Millfield's local librarian, Mrs. Gardner. She mentioned something strange. Several people who had been regular visitors to the library suddenly stopped coming the week before Emily vanished. Among them was a man no one had mentioned before, Paul Carter. Paul Carter was a mystery wrapped in a quiet, unassuming exterior. No one knew much about him, but the librarian remembered him as polite but distant, always keeping to himself, never making eye contact. Digging into town records, Lawson discovered Carter had arrived in Millfield just a few weeks before Emily's disappearance. Further digging revealed a troubling past: arson, assault, and a sudden disappearance from his previous hometown after a suspicious fire destroyed several buildings. Had Paul Carter come to Millfield running from something, or chasing someone? What raised red flags was the timeline. Neighbors reported seeing a car matching Carter's parked near the edge of Millfield Woods the very night Emily disappeared. The same woods where Emily's scarf was found. Had Carter been following her, or was it something more sinister? Lawson sent the scarf to the state forensic lab for new testing, hoping that advances in DNA technology might reveal more than what was possible 20 years ago. A week later, the results came back, and they were shocking. Scientists found faint traces of a second DNA profile on the scarf. A second person had been there. The presence of unknown DNA opened a new, darker chapter of the investigation. Who was this second person? Were they a witness? A partner in crime? Or the killer? Lawson gut told him this was the breakthrough they had been waiting for. Pressure mounted on Paul Carter. Law enforcement tried to locate him, but his trail went cold. When officers searched his apartment, they found it empty. No forwarding address, no signs of packing, nothing that explained his sudden disappearance. Neighbors described seeing him leave in the middle of the night, moving quickly and nervously, as if he was running from something or someone. At the same time, new witnesses came forward. Several people reported seeing a shadowy figure lurking near the diner in the days after Emily disappeared. A man who seemed to be watching the investigation closely, vanishing whenever anyone approached. No one knew who he was. No one could describe him clearly. The town of Millfield grew restless. Rumors flew like wildfire. Neighbors began eyeing each other with suspicion, whispering about the man they didn't see and the secret everyone hid. The once peaceful streets felt charged with fear and paranoia. Then the threat arrived. Detective Lawson received a note, slipped under the door of the police station late at night. No name, no signature, just one chilling sentence written in bold, deliberate letters. Stop digging or you'll be next. The message was clear. Someone wanted the case buried, and they were willing to threaten anyone who got too close. Lawson knew that the stakes had just risen to a dangerous new level. Someone in Millfield was desperate to keep the truth hidden. But was it Paul Carter? Or the mysterious figure lurking in the shadows? Or someone else entirely? As the detective grappled with these questions, an informant contacted him anonymously. The voice was cautious but firm. There's more than one secret in Millfield. You're looking at the surface. The truth lies deeper, in places you're afraid to search. Lawson got told him this case was no longer just about a missing girl. It was about a town's darkest secret, one someone was willing to kill to protect. Now it's your turn. Who do you think the second DNA belongs to? What secrets might Millfield be hiding? Who could have sent the threatening note? Share your theories in the comments below. And make sure to like and subscribe. In the final part of the story, Detective Lawson will confront the truth, and Millfield's darkest nightmare will be revealed. Small towns seem safe, but sometimes they're the most dangerous places of all. Will Lawson's relentless search bring justice for Emily, or will the shadows swallow the truth forever? Stay with us. Detective Mark Lawson sat alone in the dim glow of his office, the weight of the case pressing heavily on his shoulders. The threatening note, the vanishing of Paul Carter, and the mysterious second DNA on Emily Sinclair's scarf haunted him like ghosts he couldn't shake. Every lead seemed to deepen the mystery rather than solve it. But tonight, a call jolted him awake, an anonymous tip of a location hidden deep inside Millfield Woods. A place untouched by search teams, a place where secrets had festered for decades. Lawson and his team drove silently through the winding roads, headlights cutting through a dense fog that clung to the forest like a shroud. The air was thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and fallen leaves. The woods seemed alive, whispering, waiting. They reached a small clearing where an old cabin stood, forgotten by time. Its weather was cracked and rotted, vines creeping up its sides as if nature itself wanted to swallow it whole. The door hung ajar, creaking softly in the cold wind. Inside, the detective's flashlight pierced through layers of dust and shadows. The cabin smelled of mildew and neglect, but what caught Lawson's eye was a small, rusted metal box tucked under a broken table. The box was locked, but quick pry revealed its contents, a cache of old photographs, handwritten notes, and maps. The photos were haunting. Grainy, black and white images of Emily Sinclair, taken from a distance, watching her every move, her face filled with innocent hope, completely unaware she was being watched. Lawson's hands trembled as he opened a folded note, the handwriting familiar. It matched the threatening message he received at the station. The pages were detailed. Times, locations, daily routines, conversations Emily had with friends and family. Meticulous records of her life, as if someone was obsessed, studying her every step. Suddenly, a sound outside made everyone freeze. Footsteps, slow and deliberate, crunching leaves. Then a figure emerged from the shadows. Paul Carter. His face was pale but resolute. He didn't resist arrest. Under interrogation, Carter's story came spilling out, a dark tale of obsession, regret, and misplaced intentions. He admitted to stalking Emily, followed her from the moment he arrived in Millfield, convinced she was a key to a life he desperately wanted to reclaim. But Carter was adamant he was not the killer. Instead, Carter dropped a bombshell. The real killer was someone closer to Emily, someone no one suspected. Jake, Emily's boyfriend. Jealousy, anger, and secrets had poisoned Jake's mind. On the night Emily disappeared, the two had a violent argument in the woods, words that escalated into a deadly confrontation. Lawson and his team wasted no time locating Jake. Found at his home, nervous and evasive, Jake initially denied everything, but the mounting evidence crushed his defenses. He confessed to the argument, the rage, but insisted the fight hadn't ended in murder. But then came the grisly discovery, a shallow grave hidden beneath thick underbrush in Millfield Woods. The remains, though decomposed, were identified as Emily's. The town of Millfield was shattered. Justice seemed within reach, but darker truths awaited. Further investigation revealed that Jake had not acted alone. There was an accomplice, someone deeply embedded in Millfield's community, someone with influence, someone willing to protect their secrets at any cost. Lawson's world spun as the layers peeled back. The investigation uncovered corruption, betrayals, and lies, a tangled web that reached into the town's most respected families. The accomplice's arrest shocked Millfield to its core. Suddenly, the sleepy town was thrust into a harsh spotlight. Months later, Emily's family found some semblance of closure. But scars remained, invisible wounds etched into the fabric of the community. Lawson knew this case would haunt him forever. But even as the dust settled, a chilling question remained. Had justice truly been served? Or had the shadows in Millfield only shifted, waiting for the next secret to emerge? Now, we want to hear from you. What surprised you most about this case? Did you suspect Jake or Paul Carter? What do you think about the accomplice's role? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future deep dives into real mysteries like this one. Because sometimes, the darkest secrets aren't buried underground. They live within the hearts of those around us. Thank you for following Emily Sinclair's story. Stay curious. Stay vigilant.